Hello, I'm Professor Thomas Henry Horan. You probably know me as the host of the Stones Unturned podcast on YouTube. I just bought a Masterbuilt MES30C analog 30-inch smoker. It came highly recommended as a good starter smoker if you want to learn how to smoke your own meats and other foods at home. The first question most people have about any product is, how hard was it to assemble? Well, I thought I'd go ahead and make a video of myself assembling my Masterbuilt smoker, and then you could see for yourself how easy it was to assemble. Before you do that though, I highly recommend that you go ahead and invest $40 or $50 in a good digital meat thermometer system. I'll tell you about this in the next video. This unit does come with a built-in analog thermometer. That's going to be worthless when it comes to actually cooking good quality meats. So you are going to want to pick up, this is a ThermoPro. There are a couple good brands out there, $40, $50. So you maybe get 4 probes. It's digital. It'll sync up with your phone through Bluetooth. But before we get into that, let me show you how easy it was, more or less, to assemble my Masterbuilt smoker. Now, I've already unboxed the unit, and one reason for that was it was truly brand new. The paint was it was almost wet when I unboxed it. So I unboxed it and left it out on the porch for a couple of days so the paint fumes would dissipate. So now it's nice and dry. There are no paint fumes. And there's not a lot of assembly that has to be done inside the unit, but as you can see, it's all black. So you're going to want to assemble this in a well-lighted area. Ideally, the best place to assemble any product is at the bottom of an empty swimming pool. That way, when you drop small parts, you stand a halfway decent chance of finding them. I don't have an empty swimming pool, so I'm going to have to assemble this in my dining room. Now, I took the box that the unit came in. I ordered mine online. I took the box that the unit came in, and I've used that cardboard to protect my work area. Little pro tip for you. First thing you want to do, find the instructions and throw those away. Not in this case. What I like to do when I assemble a product is go to the manufacturer's website and find the instruction manual, and I put that online instruction manual on my big screen TV. But there is no online instruction manual for this unit from this manufacturer, so there is no link to that down in the description for this video. I've also unboxed all my parts. There's a reasonable number of parts that go to this unit. I've put all the little nuts and bolts and things in a little plastic bowl so they don't get lost quite so easily. You'll only need 2 tools. You will need some kind of Phillips head screwdriver. You could use a flathead screwdriver, but I prefer Phillips head whenever possible. And you will need either a socket or a wrench. This is 13/32. I have no idea what that is in kilometers. I have all of my parts as far as I know, and now I think I'm ready to begin assembly. I'm going to skip the first step just temporarily. The first step is putting on the legs. I want to go ahead and show you the one part that needs to be bolted to the inside of the unit, and I will do that first. Okay, so the first part we're going to install is this heating element support, which goes towards the rear and the lower portion of the cabinet. There will only be 2 holes drilled all the way through the cabinet to attach this element holder. And to do that, you will need 2 of these screws and 2 of these nuts, which again are black, just like the inside of the cabinet. So again, you're going to want plenty of light when you're trying to assemble this unit. Now I'll start on this side, put the screw from the outside of the cabinet, put that through this little eye loop in this holder, and eventually get your nut started on here. Okay. Now I'll start the other nut nut and screw from the other side. Maybe. Nope, I'll have to come around there and do it. Now you want this to hang so that it's as low as possible in the cabinet. So when you tighten this down, make sure just get that good and snug so that it doesn't come loose. Do that to the other side. There we go. Each of these legs should be pointed outward like this, or like this. And you won't need nuts for these. You'll just need these black screws per leg. I'll see if I can get one of these started. Let's see what I'm doing. If you have trouble doing that, one way you can do it, you can start the screw in the hole. You can go ahead and put your screwdriver in there and hold that in place, and then line that up with the hole on the cabinet. Okay, and it actually takes three screws per leg. See if I can do this again. Of course, if you have a helper, that might be nice, or it might be annoying. That's up to you. Depends on the quality of the help you can find. Right. Great, I've got all 4 legs attached. Now I'm going to put on the handles. This is the top of the unit, so you want the handles to sort of be angled to the top. You'll use 2 of these black screws, one in each of these little brass threaded insets. There we go. Then I'll do the same thing on the other side. By far the most complicated part to assemble on here is the door latch. Now you're looking right now from the inside of the door, and this is the bottom edge of the door. So you'll need the door handle, you'll need a washer, you'll need this spacer, you'll need the latching part itself, and you want this bevel to be up against the, imagine this is the edge of the cabinet. So you want it to be here, and you want this to be pointed downwards when it's closed. And if you look at this, there's a square shoulder on right below the threads here. So when this is properly assembled, this is about 90 degrees between these 2 parts. So the handle, when the handle is down, the unit is latched, and then you can lift up, the unit will be open. So you will need a 9/32 inch socket to tighten down this little tiny lock nut, and I've got that right there. Okay, so you just take, this is welded on, so you take the handle, put it through this hole in the door. This is the bottom edge of the door, so this is pointed downwards. I put my washer on here. I put my spacer on here. I put the latch part, and again, if you can see that, let me see if I'm holding this where you can see it. Probably not. If you can see the bevel part, Right, hopefully it'll be common sense when you put it on, but the beveled part should be put this on, and then maybe I'll explain it a little better. So let's get this at 90 degrees, get that down on that square. You have to be kidding me. There we go. Okay, and before I tighten that down, see if I can show you, it's sort of, this is formed in sort of a V shape, and you want the point of that V to be pointed towards the inside of the door, because that will actually be the edge of the cabinet. So when you're latching the door, this will slide a little more easily against the edge of the cabinet. So when you think you have that lined up properly, this is the closed position, so the latch part is pointing this way, the handle part is pointing down to the bottom of the door. Just tighten that up gently. It doesn't have to, it's a very small screw and nut. Just make sure it's firm. And there we go. There's the door latch. That's the hardest part of assembling this unit, I promise. Next, we will insert and attach the heating element. So slip that out of that cardboard and sort of test fit this. This is your rest that you put on a few minutes ago. So you want the heating element to rest on that. And then these screw holes, and again, this is difficult to see because this is a black cabinet. Maybe if I put my finger there, you can sort of see it's sort of a keyhole shape. The screws that hold this on have been pre-started for me from the factory. So you don't want those tightened down. So there'll be a little bit of room. You can slip that in there and it'll slide down, and then you can tighten that from the inside. If these screws were not already pre-inserted, this is the other type of screw that comes with this unit. So it's different from the screws that we use to attach the other pieces. We'll slide that in there, put this heating element on the heating element rest, and I'll try to line up these screws in these holes, all 4 of them. Let that slide down. Check the fit, make sure that's good, and I'll tighten those down from the inside with my Phillips screwdriver, which is much easier said than done because you have very little room to work in here. And again, not having a lot of light in this all black cabinet, no matter how much light you shine in here, it's probably not going to be enough. See if I can get one of these going. You can hum a wailing tune to yourself while you try to screw in this screw. Seems to be going okay. Start this one before it gets too tight. It's not a good area to work in if you have bad breath. You end up smelling a lot of your own breath working inside this cabinet. You don't have to break your arm tightening these down super tight, as long as they're fairly snug. You don't want to strip the screws. This isn't going to bear any weight or anything. There we go. The hard parts are pretty much done. Next, we'll slide in these 2 shelves. And you can see they have, right, it's sort of, can you see that? There's sort of a built-in retaining system there, and that you'll see these chrome rails that this will slide on, and you just feed it through probably similar to the racks you have in your oven. Then the next step is to insert this assembly, which will hold your water pan and your wood chips. This is where your water and your wood chips go. I will take this out of here temporarily. And this will go on, this is part number 12. That's where the wood chips go, and you'll put, that sort of goes together like that. So this goes in here, like this. This goes in here like this. All right, that's enough of that. The shelf goes in here like this. All right, so this comes with a drip cup, and there's a hanger, and that just sits in there like this, and this hangs from the bottom. So it's hard to see, but you'll see there'll be a long oval hole where the drippings come out, and a small hole where this hook will attach, like that. Now, last but not least, we'll install the thermometer, which is not really very useful. You're going to want to get a good digital meat thermometer, but the door just has these hinge pins, and they go right into these little receivers right here. Get both of them at the same time. There we go. There's the door. That doesn't shut for whatever reason. It's hanging too low. Is that even possible? That's interesting. The door hangs a little too low on these hinges in order to shut completely. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. And this thermometer will go in here, sort of snap into place. Go ahead and install the thermometer, even though I highly recommend. So apparently this goes in, you see these notches, so you need to put it in at about 2 o'clock so that the little notches line up, and then rotate that back. But again, you're going to want to get a good digital Bluetooth thermometer to do any serious smoking in this unit, and that's just to keep the smoke from blowing out. And that is that. Click the links in the description beneath the video, and they will take you to either walmart.com or amazon.com, whichever you prefer, where you can shop for smokers and digital meat thermometer kits. I'm Professor Thomas Henry Horan. Thank you for watching this video, and good luck with your project.